Hey, I'm Evan with Novation, and today I'm at Kraft Music, and I want to show you some of the new features available on Peak with the 1.2 firmware update. So let's dive into it. Now, the Peak is an 8-voice polyphonic synthesizer. It has digital oscillators, but the mixer and the filter are 100% analog. So we have 3 oscillators here with your standard wave shapes. You have sine, triangle, saw, square. But if I click more, I have 60 different wavetables to choose from. Now, when the Peak first shipped, it had 17 wavetables. But with the 1.2 update, there's now 60 total wavetables to choose from. So lots of different timbres to play with. So let's go through a couple of these. This one's kind of cool. We can assign LFO1 to go through the wavetable. So lots of sound design capabilities with the 1.2 update. Now, the oscillators feed into the mixer section where you have control over all 3 of your oscillators. You have a white noise generator, ring mod for oscillators 1 and 2, and a completely analog VCA. This is the gain knob for that, so you can drive it a little bit and get some distortion. And then that feeds into the analog multi-mode filter. So there's low pass, band pass, high pass, all with 12 and 24 decibel slopes. There's an analog overdrive on here, so you can drive the filter a little bit. Get that nice analog warmth. And then this feeds into the effects section where we have another analog distortion. There's a chorus, delay, and reverb. And a bypass button, so you can quickly turn your effects on and off. So up at the top here, we have our modulation section. So there's 2 LFOs on the front panel, but with the 1.2 update, there's an additional 2 LFOs. So that's a total of 4 LFOs. Here we have our envelopes. There's 3 total. We have an amp envelope and 2 modulation envelopes. Control for glide, and an arpeggiator with 33 different rhythms to choose from. Now, if we go into our mod matrix, here's where we can really dive in and make use of those LFOs and those envelopes. But with the 1.2 update, you can now modulate the effects. So if we go to effects, scroll over, we see a menu that looks a lot like the standard mod matrix. And now we can take any of these sources and apply them to the effects. So let's pick the mod wheel and have it affect the distortion level. We'll turn the depth up here. And now when I play with the mod wheel, we'll hear the distortion go up and down. And there's lots of different effects to choose from. So we can change the coarse feedback. Delay time. And any of the parameters that you see on the front panel. Another great feature in the 1.2 update is the ability to repeat your envelope. So if I go to the envelope menu here, scroll over, we now see a value for repeats. Now I can have the envelope repeat once, twice, or I can have it repeat infinitely. So let's see what that sounds like. You can do the same thing for your mod envelopes. So let's take envelope 2 and turn repeats on. Let's have it repeat twice, so it'll repeat, or it'll play 3 times total. And let's have mod envelope 2 affect the pitch. So I'm going to turn the depth up here. And it kind of acts like a delay almost, but you can hear it repeat 3 times. So that's another great sound design tool to have in your toolkit. Another great feature with the 1.2 update on Peak is the ability to what we call live initialize a patch. So originally, if I hit the initialize button, I'm going to get a very standard patch, just a saw with no filter, no modulation, anything fun like that. But if I go into the settings, scroll over, I have a value for initialize. And if I turn that to live and hit the initialize button again, the sound that's going to come out is going to be the knobs where they physically lie. So you never really know what you're going to get if you've been fiddling with your Peak and the knobs are at a bunch of different random values. You hit initialize, you're going to get some very interesting sounds. And it's another great way to work with your Peak because literally what you see is what you get when you use the live initialize setting. So the oscillators on Peak are called Oxford Oscillators. And a gentleman named Chris Huggett designed the oscillators on this. And so they run on an FPGA chip, which is a super high resolution chip. And the waveforms are generated at 24 million times per second. So super clean, super high resolution sound. And Chris Huggett is the brains behind a lot of Novation's synthesizers. He designed the original base station, the Nova series, and the Wasp, the Oscar. And the filter in Peak is actually a variation of the Wasp filter. Similar filter can be found in the original base station. This one's a little more in depth because you have 3 different modes to choose from. You have pre and post filter overdrive. So you can get that really gritty, really nasty analog heat from the Peak. And that's thanks to Chris Huggett, who is a very important piece of the Novation puzzle. So that was a basic overview of the 1.2 firmware update for Peak. If you have any other questions, you can contact your sales advisor at Kraft Music via phone, email, or live chat. Once again, I'm Evan from Novation, and thanks a lot for watching.